First of all, thank you for coming. You know, sometimes you anecdotally know, but sometimes it's important to quantify that and get some data and actually get the proof, because even though you might think you know, sometimes you're wrong, and other people don't just believe you just because you think it's so. And so what we've seen here through Accelerate, and Jerry, thank you for your leadership throughout all of this over a number of years. Private funds were raised, right, and utilized to conduct a project to actually do some analysis. And it may sound passé to some of you, but we still know that, hello. We still know that that research, particularly research in areas that Arkansas has a particular niche in, is a key to the growth of economic development and economic opportunity for the new kinds of jobs that we will have been and will continue to compete for. And as a result of that, we have a study that's been completed that has some significant data and significant information. I'm going to let the folks who are obviously more in touch with the in-depth parts of the report speak in just a moment and be able to answer some of your questions, or at least maybe prompt some of your questions. But it's not just limited to those areas that we've already received some accolades for and we have some success in, as important as they are, but it's potential in a number of areas. It would be remiss, or I think I'd be remiss, if I didn't specifically point out all the opportunities in the research that's going on in nano, both at UALR and at the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. I'd also be remiss if I didn't talk about the biosciences and the research that's going on there at ASU. All of these and more, with actual research that's theoretical, but also that's applied, so that we can take advantage of the economic opportunities that may present themselves, whether it's in alternative fuels, whether it's in cancer medicine research, whether it's in the new types of technology that are being derived from all the nano opportunities, the patents that have been stimulated. All of these things work in conjunction with all the other efforts that we have in the traditional sense. And as you all know, research oftentimes heads off in a direction, and unbeknownst to the researchers, it ends up following a totally different direction as they discover something that they had no idea that they were looking for, that has an application that's even greater. As I said back during the tobacco settlement debate, when we set aside a significant portion of the tobacco settlement for research dollars, and research is not immediately self-gratifying. It's not putting a piece of pavement down or a road down or a bridge down or building a school building that automatically you get to see the results of and provides legislators and elected officials and sometimes other folks instant gratification. It is no less, however, important, because the investment in research today ends up paying so many dividends tomorrow, and we have very little opportunity and very little chance to set aside resources necessary to be able to pursue those things. I'm glad in Arkansas we've been able, over the course of the past several years, really starting with a major commitment from the tobacco settlement, to invest some resources in research. This report will tell you how important that is, and will explain some of the ramifications of doing it, and just as importantly, some of the ramifications of not doing it as we face this change that all of us are going through internationally with the kinds of economic opportunities that we face as a people. Jerry, with that, I'll turn it over to you and let, or Hugh, turn it over to Hugh, excuse me.
All right.
How are you?
Thank you, Governor. Good, good. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to say that, you know, on behalf of the entire Board of Trustees, Governor, we want to thank you for your support, your leadership. We certainly would not be here without that. So for your vision in terms of understanding the importance of research creating jobs. So, and that's really why we're here today. I'm going to very quickly talk about just the timeline, a little bit of history of the Arkansas Research Alliance. The vision of the Arkansas Research Alliance is really to advance the job-creating research in Arkansas by identifying strategic focus areas, which you'll hear about in a little bit, in our universities, where you can also couple that with state, federal funding, in addition to research talent, eminent scholars, research talent, to be able to create those high-paying jobs. That's why we're here. There was a Millikan study a while back that's referred to quite often that talked about that, noted that research centers and institutes indisputably are the most important factors in incubating high-tech industries. It's a widely touted studies, and it found that 65% of the difference in economic growth in regions, successful regions from 1975 to 1998 is accounted for the presence and growth of high technology industries coming right from research institutions. Before I tell you about a little bit of the history of the Research Alliance, let me start first by recognizing the Board of Trustees, which is composed of 5 chancellors from the universities of Arkansas, University of Arkansas, UALR, UAMS, UAPB, and ASU. Those members of the Board of Trustees, if you could raise your hand, thank you for being here. Again, as the governor said, Jerry Adams, thank you. Jerry is our leader. We could certainly not be here without your support and driving us forward, Jerry, so we thank you very much. The timeline over here I'll refer to real quickly. 2004-2006 timeframe is when Accelerate Arkansas was really created. 2007 is we got a research grant from the Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation to identify these 5 core strategies, one which was job-creating research, which culminated in Act 563, which is the Arkansas Research Alliance. 2007, let's see, 2007, the Arkansas Research Alliance actually opened up as a 501c3. That was April 2008. And what I would like to recognize John Allen. Where's John? Yeah, there you are, John. John was instrumental in making sure that with ASTA and the leadership of ASTA and our effort with the Research Alliance actually made that happen. The 5 chancellors and members of the Accelerate Arkansas in July of 2008 created an 11-member Battelle Advisory Council. And if you all are here, if you could raise your hands as well. There, James Hendren, thank you very much for all of your effort. So today, really, we are kicking off, the Research Alliance is 1 year old officially today. We're kicking off the study that has been done by Battelle. And let me introduce Mitch Horowitz, who's the Vice President and Managing Director of Battelle Technology Partnership Practice, who actually conducted the study, and we'll get into the details. Mitch?
Thank you, and Governor, your remarks, I think you're going to see all the good investments you've been making in this state. Our study is picking up and showing the trajectory that Arkansas is on, and it's very, very positive. Let me say a word about Battelle. We are one of the world's largest research and development organizations, over $4 billion in revenues, and have a long track record in commercializing technologies, from Xerox technology to things in advanced materials and biotechnology, and also run a number of our national labs today, including Oak Ridge National Labs, which many of you might know and has an impact on the broad region. Our group in Battelle is really their technology-based economic development consulting arm. And we work around the country and have worked in states from Massachusetts and Connecticut down into Georgia and Ohio and Arizona. And we work on trying to help decision makers and the stakeholders understand just what's in their technology base and how to really leverage it for economic development. The purpose of this study was really to provide the Arkansas Research Alliance its kind of strategic focus and understanding in a comprehensive assessment, independent, fact-based, baseline study to assess the opportunities for enhancing university research competencies, which we'll talk a little bit about, and oriented around where there's potential for growing jobs in this state. So the starting point, as I mentioned, is our competencies, and ultimately we're focused on strategic focus areas, which we're going to talk about. So let me tell you a little bit about our methodology. You can see on the chart over here that we really start by trying to understand facts on the ground, and we do it both in a quantitative and a qualitative way. So in the quantitative, we're really looking at your scholarly activity, the activities in publishing, in publications, and grant activities, and we use specialized tools to understand just what's really happening and through the use of cluster analysis. But we couple that with also qualitative. So we got out into the universities, and again, our advisory council was extraordinarily helpful. They worked with us to make sure we got to the right researchers. They also helped in vetting all of the results that you're seeing here today, and this is really a collaboration to identify strengths in Arkansas. So that qualitative work, what we did is really go talk to the researchers, understand what they're really doing, and this is statewide, and then bring that intelligence together to understand what we call core competencies, which is really saying where in Arkansas today do you have the critical mass of know-how in different areas. And with that knowledge of those core competency areas, we then worked to understand where you can make a difference in terms of economic development. So most important thing to understand about Arkansas, and again, the governor gave you an indication of the investments. What I'm talking about is the outcomes. And you can see in this chart that since 2001, Arkansas has been on an extraordinary growth trajectory in its research base. So you have grown by over 70% nationally. It's just around 50%. And in a sense, you're catching up. But I think it's important to recognize that the base is still low. And if you were to grow your research base to be the same size of your overall economy as it is nationally, you'd have to add about another 106 million. So you have about 240 million today, you'd need to add about another 106 million. And so what our study is about is also identifying those areas that not only can you grow jobs, but because of your existing expertise, it's a place where you could compete by working in newer ways, in multidisciplinary ways, through collaboration across the institutions in these strategic focus areas to also gain federal dollars. One thing I want to recognize about these growth trajectories is that it really celebrates and recognizes the existing talent that's here in Arkansas today. A lot about what the Arkansas Research Alliance is about is also bringing in world-class talent to supplement and complement what's here. And what we're really trying to do is align that around areas that would make a difference in Arkansas. But I think it's very important to understand that there is great talent here, and what we're looking to do is raise the talent level overall with the recruitment as well. So in terms of our strategic focus areas, what we learned by being on the ground and working to understand across all the campuses here in Arkansas is where are those sweet spots, those places where you can really make a difference. We identified 9 areas of strategic focus. Each one of them builds on different core competencies, and what we're looking to do is build multidisciplinary. You may hear that word a lot. That's really what we need in science today to solve big problems and to address market needs. And then what we also looked at was the kinds of institutions and the breadth of collaborations you can build here in Arkansas to be successful. It's been a great privilege to work with you all, and I think that with this study, there's a lot of opportunities now to, sort of make real good things happen together, and most importantly, focus on those high-skilled knowledge economy jobs that are really the way of the world and the way of the future to raise per capita income anywhere, and particularly here in Arkansas. Jerry.
Thank you, Mitch. I'm Jerry Adams. I'm the president and CEO and also the help desk for Arkansas Research Alliance. Governor, it was 2 years ago that you met, you called a meeting in this conference room with 5 chancellors, their top research leaders, and 3 of us from Accelerate Arkansas. And we vetted the Arkansas Research Alliance, and you looked in our eyes and said, is it a deal? Is it a good thing? Yes, everybody agreed. Here we are 2 years later, and we've done some very major work. We're a year old. We're talking about a theme that you might relate to, economic development and education. And it's one in which we're really focused on driving, with university innovation, we're focused on making that an economic driver. One of the things, Dodd Wilson is here, and Dodd's one of our chancellors. He's been with us every step of the way. He's retiring in June. His successor, Dan Ron, is coming from Georgia. He has been on the Georgia Research Alliance board for 8 years, and we've modeled the Arkansas Research Alliance after the Georgia Research Alliance. Our primary program is an eminent scholar recruiting program, and you can think of an eminent scholar coming and recruiting to Arkansas much like you think of a knowledge-based startup company with high growth potential. That's what an eminent scholar is. Georgia has recruited in their 17 years 61 eminent scholars at about $3.5 million apiece. They put about $300 million of state infrastructure around these rock stars. These rock stars have brought in $2.4 billion of federal research dollars, created 125 companies, between 5,000 and 7,000 high-paying jobs, and that's the model we're pursuing. So, Governor, Board of Trustees, the Patel Advisory Group, Accelerate Arkansas, John Allen, it takes a village. I think that's not a trite phrase, but I want to thank everybody for coming, and if you have questions, we'll be happy to answer them. And thank you, Governor.
Questions?